Hey y'all, happy Thursday and welcome to the last live segment for the CEO Stylist Characteristics series. I'm so glad that we're on the last live because I am taking a break after this. I'm definitely taking a break because this series took way longer than what I thought it was going to take. There are only 8 characteristics, but we definitely skipped, I want to say maybe 1 or 2 weeks. So I'm definitely taking a break after this, y'all. But I really hope y'all enjoyed this series. I hope that it opened you all's eyes when it comes to just being a successful stylist, being a successful CEO stylist, and knowing what it takes. Because it takes a lot more than just being stylish and knowing how to put outfits together. There's a lot more that goes into being a successful stylist, especially a CEO stylist, y'all. So if you're not familiar, a CEO stylist to me is a stylist that understands that style is about making an impact and transforming your clients' lives. And you're literally using style to do that. So whether you're educating your audience, whether you're giving them a different perspective, whether you are helping them to build their confidence, whatever it is that you do as a personal stylist that is more than just putting outfits together and cleaning our closets, then that is what a CEO stylist is all about. So in today's live, we'll be talking about resilience, y'all. Resilience. And I'm so happy because one, we're at the end of this series. But two, I believe resilience is a really, really important characteristic that not just stylists need to have, but entrepreneurs in general need to be resilient. Business owners need to be resilient because entrepreneurship, being in a business or being a business owner is not easy. And there are going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of things that happen throughout your journey that is going to want to make you stop, is going to want to make you give up, is going to want to make you feel like I'm not cut out for this. I can't do this anymore. Like, this is not for me. But those challenges are inevitable. They're bound to happen because that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. Going through challenges, understanding trials, and really getting through them. But the point of resilience is being able to go through those challenges and go through those trials and come out on the other side, even stronger than you were before you went through it. Literally, entrepreneurship is about figuring it out. You got to figure it out. And of course, me, I have God on my side. So for those of you who are believers, those of you who are Christians, I would hope that you are running your business with him and allowing him to guide you and direct you in the right direction, because I've done it without him before. I've done it thinking like, oh, I can control everything. This is what I'm doing. This is what's happening. And although I'm not fully allowing him to take the lead, I'm working on it. But although sometimes I do find myself still like stepping in and do find myself still like making decisions on my own without even, coming to him first, things always happen in a way where I always end up having to go back to him or always end up having to, seek him for even more guidance, because a lot of the decisions that we make on our own aren't even the best decisions for us, or they just don't make the most sense for our business and our lifestyle, or what we think makes sense doesn't necessarily align with his purpose and the purpose that he has on our life. So it's so important as a believer, as a Christian, as an entrepreneur who is a service provider, who is someone who creates products, whatever it is that you do in the business of entrepreneurship, and you're a Christian and you're a believer, you have to go to God for assistance, and you have to, ask him for help and the vision and the wisdom to continue pushing forward, because otherwise you won't be cut out for this. You will not be cut out for this, and it's going to be a lot harder than what it seems. So today, well, real quick before I hop into it, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kristen Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder of PSU, which is a brand for first generation personal stylists. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying to like multitask. First generation personal stylists, helping them to transform their love for styling, their passion for styling into a profitable business. I do that through coaching, one-on-one and group mentorship, and of course these live videos and these YouTube videos. I actually released a YouTube video yesterday about building your authority online as a stylist. And so if you're on my mailing list, you'll get an email about that tomorrow. But it's already out and live. So if you want to check that out after this live segment, feel free. Literally talking through 4 different things that will help you to create and build authority online as a stylist, because so many of us want to be stylists. We want to be seen as experts, but we don't act like experts. We don't have confidence like experts. We don't add value. We don't educate our audience like experts. We're just out here putting outfits together and, doing get ready with me's. And that is not, to me, a style expert. A style expert gives your clients a different perspective on style and fashion, educates your audience on why they should be wearing something, what they should be wearing, where they can shop, like all of those things, how they can increase their confidence, how they can save time and money when shopping, like really educating them. And of course, like I always say, help them to make an impact, or you will be the one making an impact so that you can transform their life. So let's hop into today's topic, which is resilience. I'm gonna grab my phone, which I'm trying to multitask today, y'all, because I'm trying to record a spend the day with me and also like um do what I need to do in my actual day-to-day life. So I was just recording me doing all that talking for a recap. Dang, that was 7 minutes. Oh good, and it looks good too. I'm gonna show y'all. I need to do my hair. It will get done today. But anyway, I'm glad that I was able to record that. Dang, and this is 4 minutes. Anyway, let me get back to what I was doing. So let me pull up my notes here so that we can get started. All right. So resilience, y'all. What do y'all think resilience means? If you are watching, let me know in the comments what you think resilience means and what that looks like to you. And I'm going to give y'all the actual definition of resilience, because I feel like a lot of us believe resilience is one thing, and or y'all may believe it is what it is. But I want to actually talk through what resilience actually means, and how to actually bounce back, from that and be even more resilient. So if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments what you believe resilience means. I'll give y'all a second while I drink my water or grab my water, and then we can hop into it. So I'm asking you all, for those of you who are tuning in live now, let me know in the comments what your definition of resilience is. What do you think resilience means? It can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But I know what it means to me. But let's look and see what Google says, the dictionary says. So, resilience, the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness, the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape, elasticity. So, you know how to give 2 definitions. So, I read both. But let's read number 1 again, the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness. So, like I said earlier, the challenges, the difficulties, the things that we go through in life aren't always going to be easy. And as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I feel like at times the challenges that we go through are insane. It's ridiculous. But I've learned that when the enemy knows that you are doing something great, when the enemy knows that you are um, doing what you were supposed to do, living out your purpose, serving the people who you were meant to serve, and showing up in your most authentic abilities, they're going to do everything to stop you. They're going to do everything to get in the way of your end goals, to get in the way of what you are trying to do. There are so many things right now currently going on in my personal life that can honestly, if I was anyone else, would probably take me out. If I was anyone else, if I did not have resilience, if I did not have God, if I did not have my faith, if I did not have confidence, all of the characteristics that we talked about throughout this series, if I did not have any of that, all of these challenges and all of these things that I'm facing in my personal life and even in business at times, would take me out. And that's what I mean by truly having a relationship with God and understanding who He is. And you are a business owner. And if not a business owner, but today we're talking about stylists. Today we're talking about the personal stylist, the CEO stylist. If you don't have God in your corner or on your team, you won't make it through. You won't. It's going to be a hard journey, an even harder journey for you. And again, I've tried without him and it did not work. So let's hop into these speaking points because I have three. So let me actually put it on my tripod because it will be better. So, number one, resilience is the foundation of longevity in business. I'll say that one more time. Resilience is the foundation of longevity in business. Success as a stylist isn't about avoiding failure. It's about learning to adapt and keep going when things don't work out as planned. So that's the thing. I'm a planner. Most of you may be planners. So planning out your day, planning out what you want to get done for that day, planning out how you want your week to look, planning out how you want your month or your quarter or your year to look. That's fine. You can do all of that. I think it's great to be a planner. I think it's great to plan ahead and to think ahead and to be organized in that way. But you have to understand that when things happen that knock you off your plan, or when things happen that get in the way of your plan, you still have to be okay with that. And I know from past experiences, I wasn't okay with that. When I had a plan and my plan didn't go as planned, I would waste time and waste energy being frustrated, being mad, being upset, being annoyed. And I'm not going to lie, we're human beings. So we feel, we have emotions, and sometimes we move with our emotions. But when you understand what is actually happening, when you understand that these challenges are inevitable and things are going to happen regardless of how much you plan. When you understand that, then you give yourself the ability to be okay with what's happening and you maneuver and you pivot as you need to when your plans don't go as planned. A lot of the times, too, which I talked about this before, sometimes our plans don't line up with God's plans for us. And that's usually where the disconnect is. And it's okay. It's okay to have plans that aren't necessarily aligned with God's because He's always going to put you back on track anyway. But it is more frustrating when you don't have the proper mindset, when you're going through these challenges and when you're going through these trials, and things don't work out the way that you thought they would. When you have the right mindset, when you believe in yourself, and when you understand what you were created to do, then it's like, all right, cool. That was annoying. That didn't work out the way that I thought it would. That didn't really go as planned. But let me see what else I can do. Let me see how I can pivot. Let me see, how I can switch this up and get back on track. Or let me pray about it. Let me pray about it and see what I'm supposed to be focusing my time on, what exactly I'm supposed to be doing, how I should be tackling this, because this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I spent all this time planning, and now it's like, okay, this didn't happen. This didn't work out. So it's just a matter of understanding, or having a different perspective on life. When you're doing business with God, it gives you a different perspective on life and on certain situations. So those situations that happen that are negative, that the average person would probably, fall out over, you, on the other hand, will have a stronger foundation. You, on the other hand, will be able to stand strong and be like, all right, that wasn't meant for me. It wasn't supposed to be like that. So I'm okay with that. I'm not okay, but I'm going to be okay with that. And we're going to keep it moving because that's what resilience is all about. So I'm trying to think of a personal story I could share, because I put in my notes to share a personal story. Um, I feel like I share this story all the time. I was trying to think of something new. Um, But initially, when I started styling, well, initially, when I got into this industry, I was a blogger. So 2013, I was in college. I started a blog on Blogspot. That following year, I wanted to get into styling. And, I didn't really know what type of stylist I wanted to be. At the time, I didn't even know there were different types. I just thought styling was styling. So I just started styling models. I got into editorial styling. And a couple of years in, I'm like, yeah, this really isn't for me. This isn't really what I want to do. I feel like I'm able to like create my portfolio. I've been able to like get opportunities. Cool. Most of them though weren't paid. And I was okay with that because I was new to the industry. I was just trying to figure things out. But it got to a point where I'm 3 years in, I'm trying to be seen as an expert. I'm trying to be seen as a CEO. And people are still wanting to do pro bono work. I'm not trying to do that. So I decided to, on my own, it maybe, and it could, obviously, it was God. So sometimes when we have certain desires, He puts those desires inside of us. And certain things happen in our life for us to gravitate towards certain things. So I believe because, my editorial styling career was kind of like not what I thought it was and kind of like not giving what I thought it was going to give, that pushed me into the direction of personal styling. So 2016, I ended up getting a job at a company called Trunk Club. And at the time, they were serving men. So styling men, doing custom suiting for men, and curating like style boxes for men. So I had applied for that job. I was about to graduate from college in 2015. I had applied for that job and I got it in 2016 by the skin of my teeth. And this was a job that I knew, I was going to have for a minute. It was my first big girl job, fresh out of college. Like I knew this was it. And because it was in DC, I had to commute every day. I live in Baltimore. I had to commute for about maybe an hour and a half, an hour getting there, and then maybe 15-ish minutes on the metro. So took the MARC train for an hour to what was that stop called? Well, I guess it was just called DC. I don't know. I can't remember, y'all. I haven't been on the MARC train in a minute. Took the train from Halethorpe all the way to DC. And I was doing that every day for about an hour. I would get off at the train station or at the MARC train station and get on the metro for about 2 stops. And then I had to walk basically down the street. So it was a long commute. And I did that going and coming back. Literally spent $14 per ticket. Was it $14 or $7 and $14 total? I think it was $7. So like $14 total every single day to get to and from work. And I was there, y'all, thinking like, oh, this is it. This is everything. While I was there, they started offering the service to women. I'm like, oh, this is perfect, like right on time. This is what I wanted to do. And then 8 months later, February 2016 was when I started. 8 months later, September 2016, they laid me off, let me go. I wasn't able to reach or keep up with the sales goals and all the things that were needed for me to be successful at the job. So I'm sitting there thinking like, dang, like I just got out of college, like I got these student loans, like I what am I gonna do for a job? And at the time, that was actually my first time getting laid off. Mind y'all, I've been laid off from a job four different times. So that was my first time ever being laid off. So it really like took a toll on me. I didn't think I was capable of doing anything. I didn't really think I was going to be able to get another job. It just was a lot mentally going on. And 2016, I was in my early 20s. So I'm thinking my life is over. And just a couple of weeks later, God allowed me to get another job. No, it wasn't as a stylist. No, it wasn't, at a big fashion company. It was actually for a fashion designer, a local fashion designer here in Baltimore, and I was her executive assistant. Now, that was interesting because there I was working for a small company. It was literally four of us, including me. So, the owner of the company, me, and two other employees who were seamstresses. So, I didn't really want to be there, but I took the job because I needed money and I'm thinking it's in fashion still, so I can still learn a lot. And I quickly realized that wasn't a job for me either. So I forgot where I was going with this, but I wanted to just share some of my story because I feel like a lot of you all who are wanting to get into fashion or who are maybe already in fashion and maybe you're 3 years in, maybe you're 5 years in and you still don't really feel like you're exactly where you need to be. But everybody's journey is so different. And that journey, I'm thinking it's going to go one way. I'm planning it out to be one way. and it ends up going a completely different way. And at the time, I wasn't. I've always been a Christian, but at the time, my relationship with God wasn't the same as it is now. So I'm like crying, devastated, didn't really know. Like, my time at Trunk Club was completely up. And I didn't want it to be. As much as I didn't want it to be, it still was something that I couldn't control. I had to leave. I had to go. So I say that to say that God puts you in certain situations to want to grow, and not just grow, but to want to seek him for help and want to look to him for help, as opposed to trying to do everything on your own, because he's always got our back, and he's always got our best interest at heart. So number two, when it comes to the power of resilience, every setback is a setup for growth. So that story kind of leads me here. Instead of seeing challenges as roadblocks, view them as lessons that prepare you for your next level. So I said in 2016, that was my first layoff. Now, back then, if you would have told me that I would have been laid off three more times after that, I probably would have laughed in your face, because I'm like, what? Laid off for what? I'm a great stylist. I have a lot of skills. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for some time. Why would I be getting laid off? Is it because of me? Is it because of the company? Like, if you would have told me back then that that first layoff was just the start of my journey, I wouldn't have believed you. But I actually recently just went live on Monday. I had shared about my recent layoff on LinkedIn last month in July. And from that post, a woman who actually inquired about my styling services, she actually reached out and wanted me to be a part of her IG live series, where she talked about. Well, she also had other guests on who had been laid off, and she too had also experienced a layoff. So all four of those layoffs prepared me not just for that live segment, but for so much more. So although at the time, when you're going through things, it may feel like a challenge, it may feel like the end of the world, it may feel like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Like, this is crazy. I did all of this, and now this. Now I'm, you know how people say, every time I take a step forward, I take three steps back. That type of thing. But when you have to understand that when you go through things, you have to shift your mindset, and you have to shift your perspective about it, because not everything is woe is me. Not everything is happening because you're terrible at your job, or you don't know what you're doing, or whatever. Not everything. Now, sometimes we get ourselves in certain situations where things do happen because it's our fault. But a lot of the times it's just out of our control. And things happen to push us in either the right direction, or to get us back on track to where we were supposed to be going anyway. So resilience allows you to shift your mindset from why me to what can I learn from this. So I always love telling my story, and it didn't just stop at obviously we're in 2025. So 2016 to 2017 is when I was working at the smaller company for the fashion designer as the executive assistant. And although my journey doesn't stop there, um, although my journey doesn't stop there, just from that little bit of time, so much had happened, and so much growth in me had happened, even though it didn't feel like it. So you really have to make sure that you continue to shift your perspective when it comes to what you're experiencing and what you're going through, because it's going to make your journey 10 times better. So, number three, the last thing that I'll talk about is build your resistance muscle daily. Build your resistance, resilience. Build your resilience muscle daily. Build your resilience muscle daily. My resilience muscle, I would say in 2016, was probably a two. I would say a 2 out of a 10. And I say that because I had a little strength back then. I had faith. I had a lot of faith back then. I did a lot of things that the average person wouldn't have done. I took an internship while I was in school. I did Teen Vogue Fashion University when I was in school. I did a lot of things that were based off of my faith in believing in myself, my faith in believing in God, my faith of knowing that I'm going to be successful, my faith in knowing that, I was going to do great things. I did a lot of that and still do a lot of those things. I still do take a lot of risks on myself. But back then, I would say resilience wise, my resilience muscle was growing. It was definitely growing, and going through those situations and those challenges helped it to grow even more. And although I didn't understand it or see it at the time, looking back at it now, I understand it. So simple habits like journaling, prayer and faith practices, celebrating small wins, and surrounding yourself with the right community can strengthen resilience over time. Now, for me, journaling is a big part of what I do. I journal daily, if not daily, every other day. And that has really helped me with building my faith and just being able to put all my thoughts on paper. It's literally my how I talk to God. Sometimes I don't even say anything. I'm either saying everything in here or I'm saying everything here. And he knows that. That's how we talk. That's how I communicate with him. And prayer definitely is a big deal. Faith has always been there, but my prayer life has definitely increased since going through my journey. And my prayer life increased because I looked around and I made sure that I um, put myself in communities where prayer was important. So being a part of Favor 365 or Increase 365 is a women's Christians prayer group that I've been in since 2023 actually. And that being in that group has really helped me to increase my prayer life and has really helped me to also increase my faith. Although I had a lot of faith back then, I feel like I have even more faith now. And when you surround yourself with people who believe in God and believe that what you're doing is of value and believe that God can do things in anything, then it helps you to also believe. When you surround yourself with people who are so of the world and only see things as they are, it's really hard to be like, I have faith that this will happen. I have faith. Although it sounds crazy and although it looks crazy, it's crazy until it actually happens, right? So being able to surround yourself with people who believe in crazy faith and believe that God is going to do amazing things quickly is has been a game changer for me, because a lot of the times I was the one being negative. I was the one saying, yeah, that's not going to happen. How am I going to make this amount of money in a day? How am I going to make this amount of money in a month? I got this bill due. How am I going to pay this bill by the end of the month if I don't have a job? That was me. And then it's not like the people that were surrounding me were even better. And not to say that my friends and my family were negative, but a lot of them are of the world. A lot of them, some of them believe and they have faith and they get all of that. But they're half in and half out. And they say, oh, I have faith, I can do this. And then when we get closer to the due date, or when, things start to look a little foggy, or like it's not going to work out, they're like, oh, well, I don't know. And it's like, look, you can't be like that. You're either in or you're out. And I 100% get it. It's hard being fully in. It's hard being fully invested in your relationship with God and allowing Him to control your life and being obedient to Him and doing the things that He is asking you to do. Nobody ever said that stuff was easy. It's hard. And, it doesn't get, I don't want to say it doesn't get any easier, but the more you allow Him to lead and the more that you give God the control, I would say it does become a lot easier, because you don't waste your time doing things that you think is right, or doing things that you think you're supposed to be doing, or waste your time reaching out to people who aren't even supposed to be working with you, or wasting time taking on opportunities that don't even align with your purpose. So it's so important as a business owner, as a CEO stylist, to have that resilience and allow God to continue leading you. So create some routines that help you to bounce back faster when life or business throws challenges your way. So whether it be journaling, whether it be praying, whether it be being intentional about celebrating those small wins. You could celebrate anything. One of my smallest wins right now, I wouldn't say it's small, maybe it's medium, but I told myself that I wanted to post 31 days this month. Today, I'm on day 28, and I've posted every single day on Instagram. Every single day, y'all. Did I think I can do it? I thought I could. I mean, I had my plan, my social media calendar planned out. I knew what I wanted to post. Although every day, it ended up becoming different, or, I'd switch some things up every so often, but I kept it going. And I'm on day 28 of day, initially it was day 30, but then I forgot it was 31 days in August. So I'm going all the way to 31. And honestly, I might keep it up. We gonna see. I might keep it up because it's really not as hard as I thought it was. So I really I want to encourage you all to be resilient, to flex your resilient muscle, to really, um, you know, uh, continue to put yourself in situations where you can grow your faith and grow your resilience, because that is going to help you to be the CEO stylist that you were always created to be. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was encouraging. I hope this was inspiring. And again, this is the last ever live series or last ever live segment for this CEO Stylist Characteristic Series. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Real quick before I go, if you have not joined Hey Stylist, definitely make sure you click the link in the description box to join. It's a free community that is offline for stylists, and it's in a group me. I share jobs there. I share resources and opportunities. And also, stylists who are a part of that community are able to do the same thing. We are here to build each other up, to grow with one another, and so that you don't feel like you're alone going through this journey as a stylist. Because I don't know about you, but I only know a handful of stylists. So it's not like I know all these stylists out here growing with each other and helping each other out. This industry is very cutthroat, and it's not a lot of people out here who are willing to help you. So I created that Hey Stylist community space for that. So it's free to join. I hope that you all join. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. But aside from that, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I will see y'all very, very soon. Not next week. Unless, I feel led to get back on here. But not next week. I'm taking a break. And y'all can also watch all of these replays whenever you need to, because everything is available in there. So thank y'all so much for tuning in again, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.